What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So as you guys may have saw in the last video, if you watched it, last video was dyno day. So car did pretty good, ran into a few little issues, nothing really severe. Just the main actual issue is an idle issue. But I'm trying to decipher that at the moment. I'm pretty sure it's my idle speed control valve, aka the idle air control valve. Because these 1.6s, I think the 1.8s too, but just like the Hondas, you have your fast idle thermal valve and you have your idle air control valve. The fast idle thermal valve is more for cold start warm up type stuff, and the idle air control valve is more for just across the board regulating of idle and stuff. And the idle on this thing, it's kind of acting on a cold start like I have no idle air control valve like on a Honda, how you have to hold the throttle open until the car warms up a bit. So that's obviously problematic. But then the other issue is that the idle is high. It's sitting right around 1400 at normal idle. It doesn't compensate for load. Like when I kick the AC compressor on, the computer doesn't compensate, the idle doesn't kick up, the car wants to stall out. So trying to diagnose that, I tried to go to the junkyard this morning and get a throttle body or idle air control valve, and to my dismay that both Miatas had both their throttle bodies missing. So this is your idle speed, or idle valve, just your normal one, fast idle thermal valve for lack of a better term, and then your idle air control valve is this guy down here. So I haven't touched that one. This one we cleaned when we put my injectors in. We had this off to get the rail out anyway, so we cleaned it while we were in there. So I don't feel like that's the culprit. I really feel like the culprit is down here, because I did do a voltage test. The connector with the engine on is getting 13 volts, and then I checked for resistance, ohm resistance on the pins on the connector, and that's not good. It's supposed to be around 12, I was only seeing around 8. But while I'm trying to figure that out, one of the other issues that I'm having is this car just gets so stinking hot. A big part of that is I need the coolant reroute, which I just ordered, and I also need to fill up some of this dead space. Letting too much air go around there. So that's what we're gonna do today. Sounds like Doge has just showed up. See a little red S2000, so he is actually gonna help me get this thing ducted. This is one of the plates that I had already made, because there's normally a big hole here for your receiver dryer, and then obviously all the way around your hood latch is gapped. So I made this little thing out of ABS plastic, and then I used this heat tape to try and block off around the radiator here a bit. So I'm probably gonna have to remake this, or I'll just buy one, but probably just remake it out of the plastic that I have, so that way it comes all the way forward. But the main issue is the air that goes through the grill past the radiator. This is the stuff that I'll be using. I posted up on one of the Miata Facebook groups, and one of the guys, it's a track guy, has his car ducted with this stuff too, so it's supposed to be pretty good. Big old thick plastic, I don't even know how thick, 1/8 inch maybe, but, and it's flexible, which is good, so I don't have to worry about like bending aluminum. Alright, so got the car up on jack stands, got the wheels off. You can kind of get a better idea with all the air, all the light that you can see coming through here is places that the air is definitely going to be traveling. So at the bottom of the radiator there, we're going to have to try and make something to plug that up, because the air is going to take the path of least resistance. So in this case, even if all the air off the sides was blocked off over here, that still is going to come in and slide under the radiator and not necessarily go where it's supposed to be going. So we got to block off over there, the sides of the radiators, inside the engine bay, and then probably have to pull this lip back a little bit and tie it up or something. But yeah, block off all on this side and on that side, and then kind of see where we are there. So we got a bunch of cardboard. We're gonna start making some templates out of that, and we got this big old plastic sheet baking out here in the sun to try and straighten out. But got the mad scientist behind all this, the guy that knows how to do math. You know, there's no math involved. I don't like doing this stuff.
Yeah, tell me about it.
But yeah, yeah, we're gonna give it a shot and kind of walk you guys through the process as we go with it, and see if we can make something happen to where this car stops hitting 215 degrees on the freeway. Just normal driving.
It's really cool coloring. This is chill. He's like, what am I doing out here?
This thing's so fat.
You know, from being a wild thing.
Oh my gosh. Well.
Yeah, they found.
Okay. So I was looking at this originally, and it looked like air can kind of sneak past through these couple of points down in here.
Right.
So I thought maybe a flat plate might do the trick. but then air's gonna sneak past, you know, once you're actually moving at speed, it's still gonna move through this gap right here.
Right.
So maybe trying to build to the gap first. So maybe actually putting in a curved piece back in here, you know, so we can block all the airflow and just keep it redirected into this section through there. So we'll give that a shot and see if we can't cut up some shapes to keep the air where we want it, and maybe build off of that.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a little tedious process for sure.
Just trying to see how much longer I need to go with it.
Wonder what Ramon's up to. Maybe we should have him come by. Be moral support.
Exactly. Yeah, he's up in Flagstaff right now.
Oh, must be nice.
I know, right? Pull up your blade.
If it's even sharp.
It's just gonna be a little bit large. Gotta trim it down as we go. And forgive me doing everything backwards. I am left-handed, and as such, I can barely sign my name or write legible.
That's alright, I'm left-handed too.
No more struggles. Yeah, so forgive the jankiness for right now, but that's what all these templates are for. So we've got a little bolt hole down here, and Chris has thoughtfully welded up in anticipation of this exact project. Another hole up here.
Let's go with that.
So we can use that with a bolt assembly or even plastic bumper clips, and make use of both of those holes. Hopefully, literally just have a piece. Yeah, and this plastic's really flexible, so we might be able to stick with something like this, or maybe make a separate piece here and maybe try to plastic weld it together. We'll see how crazy we want to get. But,
I mean, hopefully it bends far enough so that way I can throw it in the description, so if anybody else needs to do this, or even just, I mean, if you have to do it for your S2000,
yeah,
then you know ahead of time.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to use as little fanciness as possible so
cavemen
like me could do it. Or cavemen like cavemen.
Yeah, exactly. Or even if you got to remake it, it's fewer materials and stuff.
Yeah.
Or maybe make a second rev or something.
I mean, if it works, it works. If we have to use multiple pieces, and gotta do what we gotta do. We need air.
So again, this is not my forte, but we're gonna work with this here. May end up switching to the Dremel here in a second. Cut to switching to the Dremel.
Dremel. Plastic is a little too thick. We're gonna switch to the Dremel. If I can find it. Found it. Safety first.
Safety first or third, depending on what day of the week it is.
Yeah, I mean it's a Friday, so we're probably on the 3rd right now.
Yeah, exactly.
End of the week.
Are you clocked in? Yes, safety third. Workman's comp.
Glad I'm not clocked in.
Yeah. I think I'm getting paid today.
That's such a depressing sound.
It's a high-strength plastic slowing the motor down. So I'm just kind of pre-shaping it right now. I got the basic form cut. We're going to see how well it plays ball. Let's see what's up here.
So we got this one piece kind of resting in here. It's not bolted in yet. And we just pretty much just made a slightly longer version for the other side, about to drill the holes in it, and that will cover that. And then we got to cut out this section here, which this is more or less going to block off right here because air obviously can get past there. And then again on the other side, and then fill in a few more gaps. And then to attach the pieces, you could either plastic weld it. For me, I think I'm gonna just run down to the AutoZone or O'Reilly's to get some of that aluminum foil tape, and it's also heat reflective, which is nice, but in this case we're just gonna be using it to fill the gaps. Pretty much like I did here with the radiator, although this is probably not ideal. Foam would probably be better in this case because you can get actually tucked up in there. This, I don't know, is gonna peel up, especially from the heat. It's not very solid on there, but you guys get the idea. So, keeping at it. Okay, so these pieces fit up pretty well. So now I can kind of attach these and then use the fancy tape stuff I told you about to fill the gaps. So I'm not doing anything crazy to mount these up. I'm gonna just be using some normal bolts, some washers to make sure that the nut doesn't get pulled through on the other side. So nothing special, just simple hardware. Getting kind of hard to see because of the lighting, but you get the idea. It's mounted up top here off that hook, mounted in right here and right there, and then I'm gonna cover these gaps and cover the corners in here with that aluminum tape I told you about. Working on the other side right now. I see lots of swirl marks on here.
Oh man, all the swirl marks. Let me tell you how many shades of red I got too.
Oh yeah, I forget, this thing isn't perfect like it looks on camera.
Yeah.
It looks brand new on camera. Looks like a show car. And it's not far from it in person, honestly. There's just swirl marks. Mr. Cheap Microfibers. Walmart aisle microfibers.
Tell you how many times I've corrected the paint. 0.
Oh, I know a guy. Alright, we got some Taco Bell and just tried 2 different stores looking for that aluminum tape. Apparently everybody's out of it, so I think I know one place that has it. I'll go a little bit later today, but we're just gonna finish it. Ooh, somebody got pulled. Undercover truck. Oh, somebody looks like, oh, they got the tow truck there too. Ooh.
Trunk open and everything.
They're getting busted.
She's getting tossed.
Alright, so we finished up this side. Again, we just need to add some tape. We're gonna leave it as this for now. Really just kind of see if this helps at all. Because this obviously is where the majority of the air was going around. Probably add something here too so it stops from going there, but overall, not bad. Other than the sticker, which I tried peeling off, but it didn't want to work, so bear with me. But yeah, we'll try it. And then we'll just throw a little bit of foam up here, like I had mentioned, so that way we don't have to use this gold tape. And other than that, the only other spots I think air could come out is right up here at the tops of the radiator. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with this if my temps still, or if the temps at all come down. All right, so we got some of the foam up top here. It almost entirely sealed it. A little bit of a gap there, but if I need to, I'll throw some tape up here like I had. I just took the gold crap off so I could put the foam on. And the grill, it's much better. So yeah, we'll see. I still am probably gonna at least throw something here, just because I don't like that. But let's take it out, kind of see if it makes a difference, and go to O'Reilly's and we'll get the tape at least. Just went and took it for a drive. Also just put the tape on it. Didn't really get the results that I was hoping for. So at city street driving, I think it was also because there was a lot of traffic. The temps were a couple degrees more than normal. On the freeway with the AC on, I was seeing the same temperatures as before, like the 215. But one of my issues, I think, is that these fans just don't pull enough. So I don't even know. I mean, these fans, they say they're 1750 CFM, but I don't know. So I'm gonna go, I have the stock fan on there. It worked before. I just left these fans in here because, you know, they're slim, they're cool, they came with the radiator, it was already assembled, whatever. So I'm gonna try and pull this fan off and see if I can't fit the stock cooling fan on, and if I can fit that fan on, which I should, because this shouldn't be in the way. If I really need to, if I can, I may try and put the cooling the condenser fan back on too, but I really don't know if I'll be able to have clearance with the charge pipe there, let alone the blow-off valve. So gonna try that, but I think really I just gonna have to wait for my coolant to reroute and do my hood scoops or hood vents. And I mean, really, I don't know if I can do a whole lot more ducting. There's not much more room, and there's really nothing else I can block off down there. So if you guys have any better ideas, let me know in the comments down below. But I don't know, kind of at a loss right now while I wait. And Doge approves of the Chinese choo-choo.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's not bad. He said it's not bad.
It's not bad. I like it.
They give it his S2000 a run for the money.
It's you know, makes me miss having turbos.
You have like a super nice turbo kit for your
for sale.
Yeah.
For sale. Just hit me up at Doge S2000
on Instagram. Doge_S2000.
4,000 oboe, is that what I saw?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Science of Speed kit with a couple hundred miles on it.
3582. Yeah. I think I was pushing like 600 horsepower with the 85 on a built engine. It's crazy.
It's ignorant, but
This gets me tempted again, but I don't know if I'm willing to blow another like $3,000.
started taking the fan off. Then I found out that I have to take the shroud off because fitment and stuff, and now to do so I have to take the under tray off. And yeah, this is kind of turning into a bit of a chore, but just trying to get this done just so I can, you know, not overheat. Running my intercooler piping all nicely through the plastics and stuff, so I gotta take all my charge pipes off. Yeah, those are AC lines.
Might have some room cheating to the passenger side.
This thing is stupid. This didn't turn out well, so I gotta pull this hose off really quick and I'm gonna lose more coolant, but I mean, at least doing so I can take the IAC off without feeling guilty for having to bleed the cooling system again. So let's see how much we lose. Oh dear. Alright, well, now we can test fit the stock rad, or not rad, fan. This thick boy. Alright, so Doge's got the fan, the OEM fan at least, respliced. I went ahead and cut up the shroud. I got it bolted up, but you know, issue is that I don't want it to flap around, so I cut off the tabs from the other side, and I got the TIG welder, so I'm gonna go ahead and tack these on, and hopefully there's enough here so it'll fit, but you know, that might actually be an issue now. Shoot. Well, I have more aluminum, so I'll make it work. This is kind of what we got coming up with here. I welded on this extra tab, and so this one barely clears with the stock fan, but stock fan fits nonetheless. So we're gonna try it. I mean, these fans are pretty wimpy, so I can't imagine the stock fan will be worse. So if anything, hopefully it should be an upgrade. If it doesn't help my cooling, then I'm gonna just have to save up and buy the Flying Miata Stage 1 kit, which is like 350 bucks. Good chunk of change, but we're just gonna need it. So here we are with the fitment. Takes up a lot more room, and I did try to put the stock condenser fan in there. It definitely don't fit. So, like I said, we'll try this, see what happens, see if it works any better. Just gotta finish putting it all back together now, get the under tray on, and bleed the cooling system again. Still got a minute.
So it's next day, it is midday. I went out to a car meet this morning, got some good freeway time on the car, came back home, you know, midday here as it is. It's about 100 and, probably between 100 and 105, I haven't actually checked the temperature. But with the ducting and now the bigger fan, and I think not only bigger fan, but I think by cutting up the shrouding, it actually helped because that shrouding seemed pretty darn restrictive. But by doing so, at idle, like coming to a stoplight, instead of the temperature staying still or going up, it actually drops, and it drops pretty drastically. The freeway speeds, it's still around, it's a little bit cooler. It's around more 203, 205 now, at least right now, middle of the day, than it was before, where it was sitting steady at like 205 to 210. I didn't try with the AC on. I don't think it's good enough yet, because I feel like part of my issue now is that maybe I have more air coming in, but I don't have enough air getting out. So the hood vents are going to be a necessity. And I did order my coolant reroute, the Q-Max or whatever, the Super Miata one, the orange one, and I did order a 180-degree thermostat, so that will hopefully help, and then hopefully maybe I can go in on the computer and tell my fan to kick on a little bit sooner, because when my temp gauge reaches 197 degrees is when the fan comes on, so maybe that'll make a difference. But I'm gonna end this video off here, guys, so hopefully you enjoyed it, hopefully you found it somewhat interesting and useful. Maybe try ducting yourself. See if it helps your car out if you have any same issues. But anyways, guys, leave a like. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Leave a comment down below, and do what you love, forget the rest. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.